It's not like one day somebody wakes up and says, let's start a war.
Israel controls everything and everyone that goes out or comes in.
In March 2006, Israel, the US and the European Union imposed an economic and financial embargo on the new Hamas-led Palestinian government, pushing about 85% of Gazan households below the poverty line. Since then, Israel has reinforced the blockade and caused a humanitarian crisis.
The siege and the sanctions are quite literally killing Gaza. Human rights groups say nearly 40 critically ill patients have died in recent months because they couldn't get out for treatment.
As a result of the continuous cut of electricity in the power plants, we are facing a serious problem in providing the population of its essential needs of water supply.
Raw sewage flowing down the street and lapping at their doorsteps. It's a graphic consequence of the power cuts in Gaza.
And almost 2 million people have been left trapped inside.
12% of all deaths among children in Gaza is from diarrhea, and that's due to the poor quality of water they're receiving.
The world's largest open-air prison, both Israel and Egypt have tightened the restrictions on goods and people, leaving Gazans with little hope to rebuild their lives.
Gaza used to import 8,000 commodities from Israel. Israel allow only for 40 items out of 8,000 items. People in Gaza have been disconnected with the rest of the world, but also preventing people from out to come into Gaza. They don't want anybody else to speak differently to their story.
Before the imposition of the siege in 2007, an average of 7,400 trucks of construction materials were being let into the Gaza Strip on a monthly basis. Since, and specifically actually in the period after Cast led, that's gone down to 41. This is in a territory that's been heavily bombed and shelled during Operation Cast led and has an urgent need to rebuild necessary to the maintenance of a dignified and decent standard of living.
The number of babies with birth defects has significantly increased. Doctors believe the toxic waste of bombs, along with the trauma of war, are to be blamed.
An estimated 80% of the population here does not have regular access to clean water. The quality of the water pumped into homes does not come near international health standards.
When the underground water reserves run out because of lack of rainfall and overuse, they fill up with seawater instead. There's also the problem of sewage getting into the water supply.
First, we can't import water because of the Israeli siege, and second, we can't secure financing for our desalination plant.
4 UN projects worth $61 million and not one of them finished. Hundreds of projects from sewage treatment plants to schools and hospitals are on hold. The UN says Israel's siege is to blame. It prevents the organization from getting the material it needs.
We are providing the people of Gaza is nearly 55% only of the calories.
Local doctors say the growth and development of 14% of children across Gaza has been stunted.
While hundreds of Palestinians in Egypt can now finally go home, there are thousands of people stuck in Gaza who are not allowed to leave, not even for humanitarian reasons.
القلب اتفجر هذا في موقع عسكري جوا سكنة عسكرية. هاي الكاميرا هذا القلبة بتاعتي. 63 سنة عمري بسرع في البحر ولازم أموت فيه. بطخ وأنا ضارب نار. سجن بالضبط حصار بحر وبر وجو وبر وبحر. سجن رسمي حصار رسمي.
So this is another typical scene from the blockade, these long bread queues. Because of the problem of electricity here, there's very limited time that these bread factories can run.
Since 2012, neither Human Rights Watch nor Amnesty International has been able to get staff into Gaza via Egypt.
Thousands of young men already struggling because of the blockade, now physically crippled.
Unemployment among the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip is more than 50%, and it reaches about 70% among Palestinian youth.
Gaza's Ministry of Health has also warned of serious consequences from a shortage of medicines, which it describes as the most severe ever.
الاحتلال الذي قيد التنمية وحرم غزة من البنية التحتية على مدى عقود، نحن لا نستشار تسرق مياهنا كما سرقت أرضنا سابقا. الاحتلال لا ينسق معنا ولا يعطي الصليب الأحمر تماما كما يرش المبيدات في منطقة وادي غزة.
Last night, Israeli air forces bombarded Gaza with more than 50 tons of explosives. People of Gaza are facing a lot of difficulties regardless if there is an escalation. They are under the siege. Unfortunately, all the world is looking when there is something happening, but there is root causes for everything here in Gaza. No one look for it. There is people under occupation, people are under siege since more than 15 years, and they start to look for this narrow piece of land when there is bombardment on it. And this is inhuman in a way.
Dog on me.
بسان وين؟ مش عارف.